The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
Good luck.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Addicts Podcast, the show where we talk about the modern and retro video games we play and collect. I'm your host, Brando. Joining me here today, as always, is this podcast player to Mike.
Oh, hello.
How is it going, sir?
It is going well.
It is going well indeed. Episode 54 this week on the docket, and we are going to be talking some Paris Games Week from 2 weeks ago, I guess now you could say, because it was literally like we had the episode that we recorded like last week, and then 2 weeks ago, and then as this comes out, and then it was like the next day was the Paris Games Week. It was like all that stuff, all the good stuff came out the next day,
and so, a lot of good stuff came out. It
did, and I do think like the only thing that I really told you was The Last of Us Part 2 trailer that came out, which I wasn't expecting, and we're going to dive into some of that later on. But as always here on the show, we like to start off with our pickups. And you have some pickups here because, of course, as we discussed last week, you made the switch. You got a Switch, and now you got some new stuff for your Switch. So
I'm getting a little crazy with it.
Well, I don't blame you.
To slow down a little bit.
I don't blame you because I am asterisk, okay, debt-free at this point. Completely. For the first time in our lives, we don't have some sort of debt to somebody.
We have a debt to yourself.
That's the asterisk. It's to myself. Take a loan on myself. I get the rewards from that, and that's why it made sense to do it.
Right.
Because why pay that interest to a bunch of other credit card companies? We were going to be going to Taxmas, and this coming, we were going to take a chunk of that. Well, it turns out we wouldn't have been able, even if we used all of it, it would have taken care of half of it.
Right.
And so let's just take care of it now, and then it's going to save us money per month.
Right.
I mean, I haven't done the full math, but knowing what I know about our budget, she does the budget, but knowing what I know about it, it's going to save us some money, and it's going to be a good move for us. And it was something that it was so fast to happen so quick, because I wasn't completely sold on the idea until she started pointing out A, B, C on the whole almost PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
She goes, it's this, it'll take this long, it'll be this much, it'll start here. We have X amount of money coming out per month towards all of our debt,
right,
for credit cards, a loan, whatever. And she goes, and then with this, it'll come out this here, and then there's no penalty for paying it back sooner.
Right.
So in 4 years, this is done no matter what. Meanwhile, what we've been doing for the past, almost 8-9 years has been like racking it up while just spinning our tires.
Right.
Maybe get a little bit ahead, and as soon as we do,
it's kind of where we're at.
We'd fall back. In the good thing about this is that it's almost kind of like doing debt consolidation.
Yes.
But to myself. Basically, guys, it's a 401k loan. I have maybe this is TMI. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say how much I actually have in my 401k.
You have enough. Let's just say how you
I have enough. And I got enough money out to pay my entire debt, and a little bit left over because one of the loans we had a cheaper payoff date if we went and did it now in person than if we would have over the course of the period we would have paid X amount due to the interest.
Right.
So if we paid it online, we would have to pay the full thing.
Right.
But if we paid it in person, it would have been $1,200 less.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm all about that life. Let's go do that.
No shit.
And wife's like, well, we got a little bit of extra money. I'm like, well, how much extra? She goes, enough. I'm like, enough to pick up my Switch? And she goes, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, that's $367.
Right.
I mean, it's a little bit more than yours because you got your deal on the marketplace anyway.
Yes.
But even you got just a deal on a standard edition. Mine's the Mario Oddysee one with the case with the game. It's $380 retail price. And in fact, it might be a little bit less than $360. Well, no, with tax, it was over $400.
Okay.
So they put that into it, So I've paid just over $35, $36, $37 on it to put it down, and then I'm gonna pick it up when I get the Christmas bonus. But we had enough to go get it, and she told me we had so much money, and then she wanted to get some clothes, and I'm just like,
nail biter.
oh man. Well, number one, different kind of TMI. I had a really bad chafe that day from work. Dude, you know what I'm talking about, okay?
Yes, I do.
I remember when you got your first chafe.
Yes, because I started gaining weight.
Well,
recently.
yes, and you never had one, and maybe it's a little bit of, because I get them, I'm a bigger dude. I got some thighs on me, all right? You got some stuff down there that rubs around, and some days it's hot, and it sucks. Well, this is one of those days where I basically gritted my teeth so I didn't have to walk like a cowboy down the hallway in front of everybody.
Right.
I'm like, I'm bleeding. I have to be bleeding. And I wasn't bleeding. But so there was that. Number one, I didn't want to have to walk all the way through Walmart to go all the way to the back of the store to pick up my Switch.
Right.
I would have grabbed a cart, and what I normally do is I just lean on it completely, and I'm just like barely moving. Or I could have grabbed one of those motorized carts and just bit my shame. Dude's like, you don't need that. Shut up. I can't walk, and I need to get my Switch.
Right.
But I wanted to go pick it up. And the idea was like, I want to play Mario because it's brand new, it's relevant, and of course, spoiler alert, you might have got it. We'll talk about that. And then, she told me how much total we had, and I said no. And then I told her that we both shouldn't splurge. We have the extra, and we'll be completely fine if we both splurge right now. But that's what we would have done easily when we had money. And, with anybody who's ever been bad at impulse buys or finances, like I'm pretty bad at impulse. I really am pretty bad at it. Yeah. Not to the point where I'm spending hundreds of dollars.
Right. But enough.
But if I have enough money, like, to pay my stuff off or to pay whatever I'm doing right now, I've got a little bit extra, the conservative guy is going to save their money. The Brando guy is going to be like, what games can I buy?
Yep.
So
yep.
I was like, we need to just, we sort of followed the Dave Ramsey setup. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that guy. He's like a money saver dude. He has a radio show. Back before I got into podcasts and I wanted to listen to talk radio, he was the only one I could find that wasn't all political, all religious or anything like that. He is a little religious because he actually does have his. You can do classes set up at churches across the country and take his economy class or whatever to help with your finances.
Right.
And to go, and you can buy his book and all that stuff. It's really pretty simple, and we kind of like with what we did with the asterisks, did it all at once. We went right to step 3.
Right.
So like that's what we need to do. We need to keep this. We need to break the habit. We really need to because we have goals. We want to get a new house. We want to get we want to get this. We want to get that. We're not going to do that if we just make excuses and make this, make that. So I said no. So I didn't get a Switch. I don't have a pickup this week.
That's okay.
That is perfectly fine because.
But I do.
I'm going to get it. But that was my story of the non-pickup for the week and my update. I guess there's my own personal. We are debt free, and we are like.
Hooray.
Well, I mean, other than as you said to myself, but it's. I really shouldn't notice it that bad. Not really.
Hopefully not.
I mean, it's only. I know how much it is, and I might have already said it. I don't remember.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. Okay. It's kind of hard because, like, when you're sitting here just chilling out on the podcast, and I know I've told you,
yeah,
and I know I've told some other people. So it's not that I don't mind telling people. It's just like I don't really want like as many people as possible to hear this to really know all the intimate details about my life.
Right.
But what to do? You have some pickups for your Switch.
I do. So we're gonna go in order here, as of the podcast that will be airing today. No.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
It's airing next week.
No. It's when it's airing this week, because the last one was Mike made the Switch.
They went up yesterday.
Oh, so it is next week. Okay, so on this, so during that podcast, I was talking about trading stuff in to get Mario Odyssey because there was a bonus trade-in.
There was the 40% bonus at GameStop.
Yeah, still fuck GameStop. Okay, so I brought in some PS4 games that, and then like Skyrim. No, I didn't bring Skyrim. I brought Fallout 4, a couple other games. And I brought Mario Kart. They only gave me $8 for Mario Kart.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched as each one ring up, and so I ended up getting this for like $12. Okay, it's not
That's
bad.
not bad. I mean,
it's not bad, but I
considering
ended up trading like 10 things. So
again, with the long-term collector, if you really want to get that stuff back later on, you can.
So we're gonna go ahead and slide this aside, and we'll talk about this.
Yeah, we'll actually do because you actually played in. Did you beat it?
Well, part of it.
Okay, so you haven't completed it. You haven't done the 100%.
Oh no.
But okay.
I have 200 moons
Out of 500.
500.
Okay, so you're a ways.
Yeah. But so on that, it's a great game. We'll discuss that in detail. So after I purchased this, I'm not super fond of the Joy-Cons. I'm getting there, but I'm not super fond of them.
They're not bad.
They're not bad, but they're not great. I don't like the ergonomics of the I guess the controller dock, what you would call it.
Like how it holds and it's kind of like this.
Yeah, it's not ergonomically correct. So I went out and purchased this. And it is like the Pro Controller. It feels very similar to the Pro Controller in my hand. Very similar, but it is not. This is a Power A wired controller plus, the Zelda edition.
Now it has to be wired to play.
It has to be wired to play.
And that's why you put your Switch over there.
No,
partially.
I put my Switch over there because the Joy-Con was when I sit in my chair, because I have like blocked. What is that chair called? I can't remember. I always call it a half moon chair.
You sit in a wicker basket, essentially.
Pretty much.
Like a big bowl.
So what I do
You're a giant bowl of pebbles.
Yes. So, giant bowl of crazy, because I'm in the middle of it.
Well, I was thinking like Fruity Pebbles or like some sort of cereal.
Yeah. So the way I sit in, I cross one leg up and put my other leg up on my footrest. This is how I play. It's the most comfortable position for me to play in that chair. When I do, it is generally my left leg that comes up. The Switch is on the left side. What happens is that it blocks out the controller through my leg. So I'll be moving, and then if I just right, I lose it all. And it's killed me multiple times. And it's actually pissed me off a lot. So I ended up buying a 15-foot cable, HDMI cable, and it works great. Now I can hear the system turn on. But I bought this because I was really mad at the fact that I kept dropping during Odyssey, and it's essentially a 64. It's Mario Sunshine or Super Mario Sunshine or Super Mario 64.
I've heard a lot of comparisons to Mario Sunshine.
It's very, very similar to Sunshine, which is one of my favorite Mario games, so I love it. But I kept having blackout moments on the controller, and I would fall to my death. And I was getting really mad. So I went and purchased this.
Yeah, I've actually heard that the left one was giving people a lot of problems.
So it might just be one of those things. It's actually the controller that is doing it, is the left one. So I went out and purchased this. It's good, but it's not.
It is a third-party controller.
It is a third-party controller.
It's Power A. I was on the fence of buying a Power A PS3 controller back before the PS4 came out, and I never jumped on it.
So my negatives on this controller. Positive, it feels very similar to the Pro Controller. Very similar in your hands.
It's not exact, but yes.
The triggers are a little extreme, and they're actually buttons, not triggers.
So are the Pro Controllers.
Oh, are they?
Yes,
okay,
they are buttons as well. But I feel like the Pro Controller buttons feel... It's been a while. It's been since we reviewed Rob's, since I've played. They feel similar, but I think those feel. I mean, because it's a first party, and a first party controller is almost always going to feel better than a third party controller. No offense to Power A. I mean, I like the look of this controller, and I actually do like the feel of it, and think I could probably play with it. The buttons are smaller. The original Switch Pro controller, we actually talked about this maybe, that the buttons did seem a bit large. For like,
if you compare it to a Joy-Con.
Well, actually, even compared to a normal size controller, the buttons are a little bit larger. D-pad, I like that they made it gold because of the Zelda theme.
Yeah.
Because it is a Zelda themed controller. I don't know how well it's going to come up on camera. Probably not at all.
It's better if you do this.
Yeah, maybe. But it's got Link on there, pulling the arrow. It's got the Triforce logo and everything. It's a really neat looking controller. I actually looked at it at the store the other day. They had a Super Mario Oddysee one too.
Yes.
But these also have replaceable sticks.
Some sticks, yes. So about those, so what they have here is some different heights. That's what I'm really seeing on these.
Yeah, some different height, and then of course for you shooter guys who like to have like a convex, like a PS3 style controller, because they say they gives them some better aim, like better precision aim for your aimer. Because a lot of controllers, if you see like the scuff controllers, the left stick will be concave, and then the right stick will be convex. So that way, give them a little bit more extra accuracy because they're so into their Call of Duty.
Right.
But they also, not to cut you off, because you're talking about height, and you can see that they have one at one height and one at another. Because apparently the height is also all about accuracy as well. But
I mean, it does well. For what I own, it doesn't work very well because I have all first-party games. And with all first-party games, if you know Nintendo, they very much utilize every portion of their controller, so I lose motion. There is no, from what I've noticed, there are no vibrations.
There's no rumble motors?
No rumbles. There might be.
I'm going to take a look at the back. We keep talking.
I don't see that it was on there. I looked. But
nope.
Outside of that, I used it for Mario Kart 8. I very much enjoyed it. I think it's a good controller. It's wired. It's 6-foot cable. It's great. It's a good, solid budget one. But I will always say this: get the Pro controller.
Mm-hmm.
It feels better. But this is extremely similar to the way
the Pro controller is expensive, the first party, and that is a $70 controller.
Yes.
And this was what, $30?
$30.
So honestly, it doesn't feel that bad for $30. I hope it lasts, because that's another thing with third-party controllers is that since it's so cheap, they kind of skimp on some of the on some of the materials. So therefore, I do hope that it is a product that lasts.
And then my next pickup here. So to go back to the Devil's Playground. So I went into Disc Replay and saw that they had 3 copies of Breath of the Wild. Now, I told myself that I would, and I believe I did say it on the podcast, I would not play this game again until I owned it on the Switch. I got a Switch, and all I wanted to do was buy Zelda. That's all I could think about. So I traded in 3 items and got $42 to purchase Breath of the Wild. Nothing else needs to be said. We've already reviewed it on here. Amazing game. I am going to probably today or tomorrow purchase all the DLC.
The season pass.
The season pass.
How much is the season pass?
$20.
$20? That's not bad.
For all 3. And they just announced the 3rd one a couple days ago.
And I think I just saw that they were planning to have the 3rd one out by the end of the year.
Yes.
So that's not bad. Because the first one came out in July.
Yep.
And then the second one just came out.
Came out. And then they just announced it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've done with this. Because I've purposely not dived into any of the DLC. Because I want to buy it and I want to play it. and I want to have first impressions of not watching somebody else do it. I want to have the full, because I love the game. This is, this generation, the best game that's been out, in my opinion. This round. Don't get me wrong, Mario Odyssey, amazing game. It's Mario to a T. I love it. This, to me, I mean, I wanted to buy Odyssey, but I felt the need to buy Breath that soon.
I'm struggling with that as well because maybe not this episode, maybe next week, maybe the week after that, whatever. I wanted an episode where we talk about backlog games that we want to try and tackle. And also, as an aside, we are at your place. We're recording on a night we're not normally recording.
Right.
Okay. Your wife is downstairs cooking.
Yes.
Did you hear my stomach?
Yes.
I am starving.
Yes.
So you're kind of torturing me right now.
I'm sorry.
But I'm struggling.
You want a snack?
No, dude.
You sure?
No, because we're in the midst of the damn podcast.
Got lots of snacks.
We might. Yes, you know. I'm having a good dinner when I get home. I'm getting some nice Panda Express. Happy 30th to Panda Express.
Yes.
We are not provided anything by Panda Express or Powerade, which we are drinking.
No.
Today.
So let's go ahead and switch over to one of my pickups, which you came over and played for about an hour.
Yeah, right about.
And we're going to give our thoughts on Super Mario Odyssey. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. This is my recommendation for those owners that have a Switch. This is a game. To me, there are 3 games right now that you must have. Odyssey, Breath, and Mario Kart Deluxe. Mario Kart Deluxe is amazing. To me, Deluxe is a 10. Mario Kart 8 is an 8 or 9. Because they added every feature from every other game to make it better. Like you get the dual question marks.
Yes.
The items, the dual question, you have
two
that.
Items.
I love that feature. That, to me, that was double dash. I mean, one guy, you were in the back, one guy got a blue shell. If you held the blue shell forever, nobody else could get a blue shell.
Yeah.
That was always, you would always linger back at 8th, get a blue shell, you get all the way to the front, and never throw it. That was always one of the tricks. But back to Odyssey. This game, I'm going to let you do your thoughts, and I'll add to them. Because I have beaten the main story. So I have beat the Bowser, which was very Nintendo 64 boss fight. Very Nintendo 64. Literally almost the same setup.
That's interesting.
Yes.
First impressions from me. I really like it. I really do. It jumps you in right away with no explanation. Peach has been taken. Bowser's going to marry her. And then he stomps on your hat. And you have no more hat. Mario's hatless. And of course the story cannot continue in that vein. And it just so happens that they are near the like the Hattie Kingdom or Cappy Kingdom.
Cappy.
And he gets his cap and he emerges and he becomes like, the whole thing of the game where you can throw your hat, use it as a weapon. Instead of just jumping on enemies, you can throw your hat and there's so many different moves. But the game did remind me a lot of 64 Sunshine. Another one here that it kind of reminded me of too. Like it took me back to that late '90s era of your platformers, of your collectors, of like your Banjo-Kazooies and stuff like that. I thought of that instantly as well. I'm very excited to play more of it. I'm very excited to own the game digitally when I get my Switch. I will not be picking the game up physically when I get it because I think I've said before, I'm getting the game. I'll pick it up physical later to add to my collection. But I'm at the struggle of trying to figure out what games I want to round out for what games I pick up early on because by the time I do pick it up, there's going to be a lot more games out. But
I was hoping to find the size of it. I forgot how big this is.
It's about 5 gigabytes ish, if I remember correctly.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, for them to put all that on there, that's great.
The detail in this game, it's the anime-ish style. It's your Mario style, but the detail in everything, the asphalt has pores. His uniform has cotton strings on it. I mean, it's amazing. Go Nintendo.
Absolutely. So what do you think about it?
I thought that this... Okay, so I'm not a Galaxy fan.
Right.
I'm not a big Mario Galaxy fan.
I liked it. It's fun.
And I was excited that they went back to the old style with the Wii U. Basically Super Mario U.
Well, there was the new Super Mario Brothers, that series, and then they had the Mario 3D Land, which was the other series.
I played the 3D Land. It was okay. Not super fond of it, but
I'm about the same. I didn't like it as much as I liked the new Super Mario Brothers series because it's old school Mario,
right?
And that you don't need to. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing.
This is a test. This should have been after Sunshine. It's what it feels like to me. You had 64, Sunshine, and then this is like the perfect predecessor. In my opinion.
Successor.
Successor, yeah.
Yeah, predecessor before all that. We can't do that.
Leave me alone.
I know. Hey, it's okay.
I can't my words mixed up. Anyways.
Yeah, I knew what you were saying.
It's great. It's a great game. What I like is me and my wife did this for a while, and she enjoyed it. She wasn't real great at it, but we did the 2-player where she was the Cap, I was Mario. And it works. 90% of the time she was off screen.
I was wondering about that. Now, when you play as a Cap, do you just play as like other enemies?
No.
Or you play as the Cap.
As the Cap. So you throw the Cap. I can throw the Cap, or you can throw the Cap, and you throw yourself, basically, and then you guide yourself around. You never have to return to my head.
Okay.
And you can collect coins.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and if you wanted to, we could take over an enemy that we needed to utilize.
Right on.
But one of the things I like about this is that majority of the boss fights, you have to be, or you are, one of the enemies that you essentially abduct.
Yeah. Yeah, what was it? The one that I did in the early on was the Chomper.
The Chomper, yeah. With
that Chomper boss with the lady walking her Chomper dog. That was funny.
It's really good. It's classic Mario.
It got we talked about it last week. I think
97, 98.
Oh, dude, it is getting insanely high. It was a 97 on Metacritic. I don't even know what it is now. There is a Mario Switch thing I do have to talk about though. I have an article.
Oh. But all in all, guys, if you have a chance to pick it up. And they leave it, like, the story ends at, like, 181 moon shards, or whatever you want to call them.
But there's more to it, right?
There's more to it. And when you beat the game, you go to Mushroom Kingdom, which has a crap load of sun stars in it, which are moon shards in the game. You can take over as Yoshi.
Oh, cool.
So you go right back to, like, Yoshi's World.
Yoshi's Island?
Yoshi's Island. Yeah.
Dinosaur Land or whatever.
It's pretty cool.
So, according to Nintendo's estimates, Super Mario Odyssey has sold over 2 million copies during its first 3 days of availability. This figure includes both physical and digital sales, as well as copies of the game that was included into the Switch bundles. So I guess that mine might be in there as well. I don't know. I don't know if they counted that since it's not paid off, but it's going to be.
I would say they would because it's still considered a purchase.
Nintendo President Tatsumi Kimishima, sorry I butchered your name, revealed during the latest company's financial briefings that he went on to say that Nintendo would like to see Mario Odyssey become an evergreen title that has longevity in the market beyond this holiday season. And I think it will be.
It will be.
During the briefing, Nintendo revealed that the SNES Classic has also reached 2 million consoles sold. Meanwhile, Super Mario Run on the phone, that's their mobile, has surpassed 200 million downloads worldwide.
Wow.
The company says the mobile game has not yet reached an acceptable profit point because it's a free game that you
right,
all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. And yesterday, it is revealed that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has exceeded 4.7 million copies sold, making Nintendo's best-selling Switch title to date. Nintendo also announced that it expects Switch to outsell Wii U's lifetime total by the end of March 2018. Not hard to do because the Wii U was sold like 12 million.
Yeah, but they definitely made the right move with this console.
They're on a roll because, like we said, you had one of the first. Of course, they started with this. I mean, just like they did with Twilight, where it was a dual console release. So people who weren't going to jump on could still enjoy it. I thought that was the best move to do because they also promised it. But then it was like anybody who bought a Switch bought this.
Yep.
Instantly. Guaranteed that this is going to be a high seller. Like a month later, Mario Kart. 2 months later, Splatoon 2. A few months later, Mario Odyssey. They sprinkled out their big hitters. Now they have all the third-party support coming in. It's a great deal to get a Switch. You're going to be playing some great, awesome games that are all the first-party Nintendo games almost universally well-made.
Oh, yeah.
Universally well-reviewed.
I mean, you've got Mario Kart, Mario Kart 8, which is arguably, in my opinion, it is the best Mario Kart that's ever been.
I agree with you. And I know there's some people who might disagree, but I agree with you that it was, when I picked it up, I was surprised at how much I loved it. Because I thought, okay, let's get this and we'll have fun.
The deluxe.
Well, exactly, and I'm excited for that. And I'm kind of thinking that the wife is going to make me get that version, or pick it up right away. But I'm very excited to pick up my Switch. We do have a few other things to talk about. Do you want to talk about? We already talked about the articles. You want to just talk about that first, and then we'll go into the Paris Games Week.
Articles first. Yes.
Yeah.
We can do articles first, but I want to touch one base on this one more time.
Okay.
Odyssey did something that I knew that they were going to do, but I really enjoy it. And there's actually a really freaking hard level that I just beat. There's a really hard moon to get. So they went back to 2D platformer.
Yes.
On where you would crawl into a tunnel and it would go 2D. And
you'd be 8-bit Mario.
8-bit Mario. And what you wore is what you brought in. So that was kind of neat where like if you had like the tuxedo on, it would pull it. He was in all white with a little white hat. It was cool. So that to me really brought back. He does that all the time.
Your cat is licking your fridge.
He does it all the time. I don't know why. He's not bright.
Well, see, last week he was the host. He interrupted me, and this time he just interrupted me by being weird. He didn't even say anything. He totally broke my focus because I just kind of gazed over there as you were talking, and I'm like, he's licking his fridge.
Yes,
he's licking his fridge.
He does it a lot. But I really enjoyed that. Going back to having that old style platformer. But what's really weird is that you're playing essentially the first Mario, original Mario, but you have run.
Yeah.
That was weird to me. Like, it was weird. But other than that.
Okay, so I couldn't find an article for this because I saw the video for it. All right. In fact, I didn't even watch the video for it because it wouldn't load.
You could have watched it.
But here's the title. Because we talked about a few weeks ago that L.A. Noire is coming to the Switch, the remaster.
Yes.
So L.A. Noire is coming to the Switch, and it's coming to PS4 Pro and Xbox One, which both of those are going to have 4K patches.
Right.
To make that game 4K. And I saw the trailer in 4K. It looks amazing. It, of course, is not a native, like, newer release game, so it's not like, full detail. But that game had some of the greatest facial animations I've ever seen, ever. I digress. The video said that L.A. Noire will not fit on the Switch system memory.
So it's a bit larger than 32.
It is larger than the system memory, yes. So what you're going to have to do is up your SD card or go buy the physical version and download it, like an update for extra stuff. I don't know how big it is because I didn't get to see the video. So maybe next week if I see that video, I remember to look it up.
When they come out with the 1 terabyte, I'm definitely going to get it for it.
Do they have a terabyte, a micro SD card yet?
I don't know. I've never really.
I want to say they do.
I thought that they were working on a terabyte one.
Okay, so it's micro.
Yes.
SD 1 terabyte. Let's Google searching it. It is available. No, it isn't.
No, it's not. I thought SanDisk was working on a 1 terabyte.
SanDisk. ScanDisk. I'm like, who's ScanDisk?
Going back in the day.
Simply the right card. Currently, it is up to 256 gigabyte.
That's the largest one?
Now, these are Samsung. And it kind of seems like, yes, it is the highest one. But, yes, Switch did make them compatible for higher. SanDisk 1 terabyte card has more storage than your laptop. So that was that was in 2016. So when is it available? Okay, so that is a
SanDisk
it's a
Ultra
regular
has
SD card. Okay, so this is a regular SD card, not a micro.
Oh, it's a regular one?
That was the one for the thing that I just said.
So it's just a SD card, right?
Yeah, but the Switch requires a micro SD card.
Oh.
Samsung 1 terabyte micro SD. Here it is on eBay. I wonder if it's legit. Micro SD class 10. How much are you? How much are you? It will not say because that item is no longer available. Okay, so here we go. We have this here. And it is not wanting
to cooperate.
No.
Change your settings to not switch.
It is on. It's on. It's not my fault. It is the. It's the browser. It's eBay. Yeah. Oh, here's 512 gigabyte for $24.
See, all I see here is, well, today SanDisk is getting us a little closer to that mark, to the 1 terabyte mark, with a 400 gigabyte micro SD card that now claims the title of the world's largest storage capacity for the memory card format in August 31, 2017.
So we're getting closer. So, okay. Right on.
And you want to know how much that is?
How much?
About the price of your Switch.
Son of a bitch.
$250 at Best Buy right now. Which is funny. Well, it's also, I believe that you have to get the Ultra SanDisk one? Because it is the faster one, correct?
Yeah, you might have to. I don't know. That would be something to look up in your Switch manual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is going to have its own Nintendo Direct next week on November 7th. Of course, this will be around the time that you're hearing this. So next week we will have something to talk about here because I definitely want to get this game.
Yeah.
According to Nintendo's announcement, the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Focus Direct will broadcast live Tuesday, so it'll be before. So you've already heard it by this point. And it's just it's gonna talk all about it, and it releases on December 1st.
Huh.
That's right around the corner. Another big game coming out, and it's a RPG.
I hate the fact that I didn't buy Gran Turismo because, well, I made the Switch.
Yeah.
And
now that you've made the Switch,
you know what though? That game has been reduced in price down to $54 on Amazon. Not pre-order, but just to buy. Already. It's not doing well.
Gran Turismo Sport?
That's what that's what I'm gathering from all of this.
What? Let's see here. Let's look at reviews. Gran Turismo Sport. Okay. Review. We're gonna look this up. We're gonna check this out. It is.
That face says it all.
No, because I was trying to see where it was. Okay, so on Metacritic it has a 76%. IGN gave it a 7.5. Trusted gave it a 7 out of 10. I don't know if this is just out of 265 reviews. I don't know if it's user review or not. It's just at the top of Google, and it has a 4.1 out of 5.
That's not. That's pretty good. Anything 4.
Well, I mean, and
it's positive. I know that it got a lot of anger when they announced that there was no career mode. You can't race the computer on your own. Everything is online. I'm not against that, but I am. I would like to have a career mode because That's where I built my driving skills.
Right.
But now they have the licenses. You have to complete a license course to be able to race online. But no career mode, guys.
Yeah, no. So I have another article here.
Okay.
And of course, the Xbox One X has just been released.
Yes.
And I'm hearing nothing but good things from the console about, it's doing exactly what it's promised it was going to do.
Yes.
And even then some. It even enhances some of your older games. And then even if you have a 1080p TV, and it's not running in 4K, it's actually running the game so much better. And it's basically what it's going to do is that it's going to put it in 4K and then downscale it to 1080.
Yeah.
So then it's going to run even smoother for you. As far as the picture is not going to be 4K, but it's going to be pretty. It's like the when we talked about the Game Boy Micro, how crisp that screen looks for it being so small, because it's perfect.
Right.
It's perfect for the screen size. However, you do kind of have to squint to see it. But all right. Do you remember the game Quantum Break?
Yes.
Okay, so that game was an Xbox exclusive. It came out. It had a TV series attached to it, and that you can only get through Xbox. It didn't really take off like they thought it would, it seems like. You don't hear about it very often.
Right.
I do plan on picking it up because as a collector, I have an Xbox One, and I want to get the exclusives at least for the Xbox One. Yes. I'm not getting most of my third-party games on the PS4, but I have picked up a few here and there for the Xbox One.
A lot of that is because we're all there. This majority of us have a PS4.
PS4. It doesn't really matter to me because the one game I thought I was going to play online, I played online once.
Andromeda?
Yeah.
Which I traded that in.
Did you?
Yes.
I can't say I blame you. It's not a bad game. I think it's underrated, but at the same time, it's not what it should have been at launch. Quantum Breaks, Xbox One patch. To take it up to 4K, sees the overall file size for the game at 178 gigabytes.
Holy shit. Wow. Wow. I feel like, wow. Wow.
The Xbox One patch is now available. It comes in at over 94 gigabytes. As highlighted by another Redditor, when combined with the TV shows, 75 gigabytes, and the base game's 8 gigabytes, Quantum Break becomes the largest game in terms of file size.
With the TV series.
It has, yes, because it's all kind of bundled in together.
Right.
Because the whole Quantum Break experience is for you to experience both.
Right.
And, for you to be able to go into the show and into the game and all this kind of stuff.
It really looked like a great game. I really liked
what I saw.
The dynamic of it, but it just... I'm sad that it didn't go well, because I really like to see exclusives go well. Because like The Last of Us, we're seeing a second one.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
With as much money as they put into Quantum Break and the fact that it did not probably do as well in sales and did not have that kind of lasting of a play effect as far as you need to play this,
right.
We may not ever see another entry at all in that. Maybe down the line. Maybe it is sad. It is sad because they put a lot of work into it. The guy, I believe the game was made by Remedy, and they're the guys that made the old Max Payne games.
Right.
Max Payne 1 and 2. So they put a lot of... Oh, and also Alan Wake. They did that game too.
Yeah.
So they put a lot of work into it. But I will pick it up at some point and probably here on the show talk about it. Yeah.
Well, one of the things... Xbox is really making all the right moves right now. I mean, really, when you think about it, now is the time to be a gamer.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about getting into it, now is the time. Because you've got the Xbox One X. It's just unbelievable. PlayStation has been pretty solid from the get-go. And then the Switch come out, and everybody's making the right moves. Everybody has their own quote-unquote gimmick.
Yeah.
But...
there are pluses and negatives to each system. But I can
having to restart it almost every single time. I have to unplug it and replug it back in.
If I talk to a person and they say they want to get into gaming, my conversation with them is going to be where I'm going to steer them. What do they want? Do they want affordability? Do they want third-party games? Do they want, Well,
third-party games now is almost a non-issue with Nintendo's.
Well, with the Nintendo thing, I wasn't calling out Nintendo. I was just saying in general. It was like, what do you want? Do you care about the console exclusives, or do you care about Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, and NBA 2K? Yeah. What do you want to play? So then, therefore, it's like, do you want affordability? Well, guess what? As of right now, like if that's what you want, you can get an entry-level PS4 for pretty cheap and an Xbox One S pretty cheap. The bonus to the Xbox One S, it comes with a 4K Blu-ray player.
Yes.
Boom, built in. So if you have a 4K TV, don't care about 4K gaming, there's your into. It also does 4K streaming as far as your apps. PS4 Pro does that, but it costs a little bit more. PS4 Base does not do that.
Right.
And then, of course, you have the Xbox One S, which is like $500. But that gives you the ultimate 4K experience.
Yes.
As far as gaming goes right now on console. It gives you the best experience. It gives you you have the Xbox, and and it's funny that I'm saying this because I'm such a diehard PlayStation fan. Xbox is the better deal. PlayStation, I still think, has the better exclusives as far as we've said Uncharted's game, God of War, even Last of Us, all this kind of stuff. They have a lot of great exclusives over there. But Microsoft is giving you the Game Pass subscription service.
Yes.
Where you pay like $10 or $15 a month. I can't remember how much it is, and you download the freaking game. You don't stream it over the internet. You download it to your console and you play it.
Right.
And when
but you had to be connected to the internet.
I do believe you do, but I think if you are not connected, you have to be connected within an X amount of days.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I want to say that's how that works.
Okay.
Then you have your reverse compatibility with 360 and now some of the OG Xbox games. So all you got to do is put in your disc. It'll say, hey, this game's supported for reverse compatibility. Do you want to download it? There you go. It's yours. As long as you have that disc, you can play it. And then, of course, you have all your great games that are available on both systems. Those are your third party, your sports, your shooters, your action games. Sports. The Kinect is no longer being produced. Xbox is stepping up their game. The Xbox One X is probably if you don't have an Xbox and you're and you want a 4K setup, that's what you should get.
Route.
And and I kind of criticized them a little bit when they released the S and then they announced Project Scorpio, because they're like, here, buy this for now. Let's get that old model out of the way. It's so big, it's so clunky. We gave you a little bit of update here. It can't do 4K gaming, but but literally what they did do is that they're giving you options, just like with the PS4. You have the entry level, and then your pro level, and then you have the Xbox, which their entry level is better than their stock PS4.
Right.
Is now the S, and then their pro level, the X, is now better than the PS4 Pro. But sometimes it's not all about that, because even if you're running under 4K, the games still look freaking amazing.
Right.
And there was an article that I read, and I like how I'm just bleeding right into these articles.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm a dummy, and I didn't save it, but I just saw it just a little while ago. So I got to scroll just a minute. So, I'm sorry.
Well, come on now.
Well, there's a bunch of...
You wanted to do this great transition.
And I wasn't ready. I know.
He wasn't
There's
ready.
a bunch of Blizzard stuff got announced today. But I didn't save it because I'm not a big Blizzard guy. I know you are, but
Well, it depends on what it is.
Okay, that's a review in progress for Xbox One. Okay, that's not this far. There were games. There's like a list of games. Oh, here it is. The 7 best PS4 Pro enhanced games that are currently out. And most of these are first party.
Well, yeah. Zero Dawn.
It's on there, yeah.
I guarantee.
The first one said, and this is on IGN, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. Never played it. Hitman. That was the episodic version that Square put out. Now that all the episodes are out, of course, you can just go buy it.
Right.
And I've heard that this game is absolutely amazing, and I want to play it pretty bad. Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, trying to see if it says. I read a couple of these, and it kind of told you what the.
It's throwing you off. Him squeaking his little toy.
He is squeaking. A dog squeaking away. But some of these do tell you what the exact specification is for the resolution. Infamous Second Son / First Light is in there as well. Ratchet and Clank. There's another first party. That's that remake. Rise of the Tomb Raider. So, if you play it on the Pro, this is where I've read it. The resolution gets a bump up to 2160p checkerboard.
Right.
Which sounds complicated, but looks fantastic on a 4K television. Play it on a 1080p TV, and the Pro will super sample that high-res image down to 1080p, eliminating jaggies and making everything look more detailed in general. Not only that, but the frame rate becomes unlocked when you display the game at 1080p, which smooths out all the on-screen movement considerably.
I'm texting her to take that away.
No, man, that's the thing. That's what you got to do with a puppy.
Yeah.
Now, Uncharted 4, now we played that game downstairs shortly after it came out, and you got to play it a little bit. And it looked amazing on your TV. And we were playing it not on a Pro. We were playing on a stock PS4.
Yeah.
1080p.
I wonder what it looked like on the Pro.
Well, it says you'll get a resolution of 1440. So it doesn't go even to 21.
Right.
And then the multiplayer mode raises it from 900p to 1080p.
Not that big of a jump.
No, but in either mode, the Pro's HDR capability improves the game's colors, while the share button now lets you capture 4K screenshots and stream up to 1080p at 60 frames per second.
Right.
But yeah, I just kind of went like, no matter which one you go with, no matter where you go, because then with the Switch, it's not 4K, but it's a different beast. It's a whole nother level. To me, it's the portability of that mixed in with the really great looking 1080p console that the system is going to be. I mean, and handheld is at 720, yes. But it's in your hand. It doesn't need to be 4K or 1080p for that.
For you to look at it in your hand, you're not really going to tell that big of a difference.
No.
Now, when you do have it on a larger screen, yes, you're going to tell the difference. But on a smaller condensed screen, you really can't tell.
Yeah. Now, Paris Games Week happened, and we got a lot of trailers for PlayStation.
Yes.
Namely, The Last of Us Part 2 trailer. Let's just start with there, because that's the one I sent you. Start
with a bang.
Because what I did is I got in my car, I'm scrolling Facebook, and I see Last of Us Part 2 trailer. And I see a different screenshot, and I went, today Paris Games Week. Click. My day stopped.
Yeah.
Because of that. I sat there in my car, and I watched it. And it's funny because I was just having a conversation with a fella at work about The Last of Us Part 2, like a few days prior to that. I almost knocked over my damn power because I didn't put the cat back on. I'm just so busy talking about The Last of Us. I was driving down the road, and I hear, and he tagged me in a post, and I knew exactly what he tagged me in. I'm like, yep, I know what he tagged me in. And he did. He tagged me in it, and maybe even fellow Junior Comics Network podcaster, Dr. Dongo. So, watched that son of a gun even when I got home again. And I even watched the behind-the-scenes thing with the director, which I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I'll remember it later.
Of course you will. But it doesn't matter. You'll
exactly,
remember.
Yes.
That's how it always goes.
I'll be sitting there blaring music in my car singing, and I'm like, ugh!
There it is.
All right, so he was talking about why they didn't show Ellie or Joel in the trailer, and that's because he said in the original game those two were the core, but then it kind of had an ensemble cast around it. He goes, we already showed them for the teaser. He goes, but for this we wanted to show something else. We wanted to show the world. We wanted to show other characters, and it didn't reveal who these characters were. He goes, we'll just leave that up to you. And he also said that since the Uncharted expansion came out in August, the entire team at Naughty Dog is now shifted to Last of Us Part 2. And I'm like giddy because I want this game now.
It's in overdrive right now.
Yeah, oh, dude, they're going full bore now, and it could take. I'm thinking it's going to take another year and a half at least to
Take your time, do it right.
Yes, exactly. Just like with the original, it got delayed.
Take your time, do it right, because if you even make it on par with the first one,
you've won.
You've won. Like, even close to. Like, you don't even have to exceed it. As long as you're, like, you're there. It's, neck and neck. Yeah, I'm good. Because that game, I'm sorry, that's what Resident Evil should have been.
It's what
all day long.
It's what it should have became.
It should have became that.
But
you kept calm.
To be fair, it's two different things.
Yes.
Two different things. Resident Evil did its thing, and this game did that thing. But it got me like wondering, and I'm like, why did they reveal this at Paris Games Week? But it was cool to see something from it,
right?
Because I was like thinking, I don't want to see any more until we're getting close, and I'm like, are we getting close? And I'm like, no, we're not getting close. I had to calm down. I had to talk myself off the ledge, and I really enjoyed that trailer. But there were other trailers that we watched here today. I watched 2 of them before today, and then all the other ones were brand new to me. Spider-Man. Yeah. Yes.
Looks phenomenal.
Yes.
And the fact that it says on the bottom, captured PS4 Pro. Yes.
Sign me
please. I want it now.
I was already like interested when I saw the gameplay from before. I'm like, this looks good. Now I'm hyped.
Yep.
I am hyped. I will have that game probably day one.
Yes.
I'm very excited because they, in a way, and I mean this not in a bad way at all, they're really taking an Arkham step with this.
Yes.
And what that means is like they have the Spider-Man character in universe, the whole thing. They have the whole comic thing to go off of. They have the movies, everything they ever wanted to do in the Spider-Man universe. They can go, we want to do this and this and this, and they can create their own custom universe out of it.
Here's my thing. We're going back to Spider-Man 2.
In a way, but I really feel like it's expanded. I feel like it is. That's another thing. What I mean by Arkham-ish is that, like, when you saw that gameplay trailer at E3, it reminded me of Arkham,
right?
Like the sneaking around and doing that kind of stuff. But then you had the QuickTime event, so it was a little bit different because then it's like, well, how can you capture the essence of Spider-Man, him doing all this crazy stuff?
It has to be QuickTime events.
Yeah, you kind of has to be QuickTime events. So you have that mixture in there. While you're watching something great on TV, you're trying to make him do it, doing the QuickTimes. But then, like, just like how the Arkham series made you feel like the Batman, this is going to make you feel like the Spider-Man. And they're going to have you're going to have a rogues gallery. You're going to have like a best of. You're gonna have a bonus, maybe even bonus skins. They introduced Miles Morales in the damn thing.
Yes, in the trailer.
He was Miles. He's there. There's a
Miles?
slightly older Peter. I've heard that Mary Jane is playable.
I saw that.
Yeah,
she was tucked behind, and she was like you
both.
See the screen.
Spidey was doing something, and she's doing something.
Yeah.
So maybe we switch them back and forth, trying to aid, but. Of course, the game is made by Insomniac. I'm very excited. It's exclusive to PS4.
Yes.
Completely exclusive. They're doing their own completely new thing with it. It's not tied to a movie. It's not tied to any cartoon series. It's not tied to anything else. Just like, again, they Arkhamized it. Let's take Spider-Man and whatever they're doing over here, let's go.
I want to say...
This is our thing.
I want to say that the avatar that they picked for the Peter Parker is close to the comic.
There have been different variations, but...
The original comic. We're going to look and see, but you can continue.
I was getting ready to go on to the next game.
Go for it. I'm going to look it up.
So the next game that I watched before was the Detroit... is it Becoming Human or...
Detroit Becoming Human.
And that is made by the Quantum Dream guys. Of course, the guys that made Indigo Prophecy, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. That kind of like movie interactive game thing that they've done for a while now and gotten one step closer to like being able to do so many more choices, which is what this game kind of really is, and what this segment highlighted that they did. It was to show you, and very fast, how different paths can spider web into different outcomes. So
I should probably put in Peter.
What'd you put?
I went Spider-Man game character versus comic.
Yeah, Peter Parker. Peter Parker. But what did you think about Detroit? Because you seemed a little bit more interested in that than maybe like Beyond Two Souls.
So, yeah, I wasn't real fond of Beyond Two Souls when I watched gameplay. But the thing with my feeling with this Detroit game is that you're gonna have, let's say, 20 scenarios that can be played out, let's say 400 different ways in each individual scenario.
Yeah.
And what I realize is that when you're looking at each time they made a selection, a whole other set of selections opened up. Like one, she picks up a gun. Another one, she picks up, what would it be, like a...
like a lamp?
It's like a lamp or something.
One where she doesn't go after him.
Right.
One where she doesn't. One where she stays put. One, and then there's one where she doesn't get the gun, and then the daughter shot the dad. Like,
there's a ton of different scenarios.
Like the whole scenario is pretty heavy.
Yes.
With having the abusive dad taking it out on the daughter, and then you as the android stepping in or not.
Right.
To help. So it got pretty heavy.
It did.
Which
I was surprised.
Which is, some people didn't like Beyond Two Souls. I really enjoyed it.
So this would be a game for you.
I really enjoyed it, and some people didn't like how Beyond Two Souls' story was disjointed, and I didn't like it either until the end, and then it made total sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to spoil just for a second with Beyond Two Souls. Her memory gets fragmented. She doesn't remember. So then, but she's remembering bits and pieces. She's writing it down. At the end, you realize that she's not remembering it. Like you could be playing like her memories.
Right.
Up to that point. So she remembers this part, and then she remembers this part, and she's piecing a lot of the stuff back together. So she's writing it down like in a journal or something. And so as you play the game, you'll play this part, and then for some reason her brain goes over here to this part. And then she's reconnecting everything, putting it all back together, putting the whole puzzle back together. And because once that happened, I was like, I get it why this game was Tarantino'd. Well, it was told all out of order. And because I think on the PS4 version, you can actually make it to where you can tell the whole game in chronological order.
Huh.
Which now that I know that, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. And then you could sort of like make your decisions towards the end. That game made me cry. Huh. That game made me cry near the end. That once you find out, because the whole game of Beyond Two Souls is like, she has a spirit connected to her, and that's her twin. They were twins, and he died at birth, but he stayed attached to her, and so they've grown up together, and he looks after her and all this. It makes her kind of supernatural in that kind of way, and of course she goes on this big, long, interesting, weird journey of being being a militant combatant for the U.S. government. They're using her powers. They're trying to contain her. She runs away and she goes on these adventures, trying to stay away from the government. And Willem Dafoe's character is all this. He's doing all this to try and reconnect with his dead wife or something. And he's trying to build this machine, and you end up stopping him. But you have to make a choice, and it's like, if I remember correctly, either the brother dies or you sacrifice yourself, maybe. But
maybe
it's been a while, but I remember the choice that I picked is that the brother died, and then so she's without him, so she feels completely lost and alone. She's always had that connection, and then at the very end of the game, she's trying to find solace in herself. She's trying to rebuild her life, move on. And then there's this little notion that he's still there.
Listen. Real close, you can hear it.
Snoring?
My cat's over here snoring.
I thought I heard him, but and I do that's what made me tear up, is because she had such an emotional attachment to her brother.
Right.
And a game like that could pull your heartstrings.
Yes.
And they did such a good job on that. And Heavy Rain got me in a few moments too. That was really cool. Although Heavy Rain had some really, really funny acting moments that take you out of that. But I'm looking forward to Detroit, and it's going to be one that I pick up. Maybe not day one. It all depends on when it comes out and where it comes out around.
Yes.
But I do plan on picking that up because I do like. I've always liked the concept of the machine, understanding what it means to have humanity.
Right.
And we've seen that play out in movies, television, all kinds of different media. So to have another sort of this thing, like another sort of like this story play out in a different way is pretty cool. Other than those, we had Monster Hunter World,
God of War.
God of War. Yeah. Let's talk about God of War.
God of War gameplay looked fantastic.
It's different, and it's going to be what this series needs to evolve, in my opinion, because you had the God of War trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. Then you had the 2 PSP games. Then you had Ascension. You had like 6 games of the old style.
And it was all the same style.
It is. It is all the same style. It's not. They're not bad games. I enjoy them, but they get old.
Yeah.
And
after playing Chains of Olympus and 1 and 2, and then 3, I'm just like, okay, same game, different atmosphere.
Yeah,
that's all you're getting, and
a little
really
bit different,
the same atmosphere, just
different aspects,
gods.
Different aspect of the story, doing more. I'm very excited to see them move away, and of course we got that hint at was it at E3 this year? Is it when they showed that, or was it the year before? I don't remember. But I was really excited about that. We had Monster Hunter World, which was another look at gameplay.
And in that sense, I really enjoy that the monsters attack each other.
Yeah, it makes the world feel living and breathing and all that kind of stuff. And of course that comes out in January. But God of War comes out in early 18. They haven't nailed down a date yet. So what I'm thinking is that it's going to be before April. I think it's going to be. They're going to try and push it to the end of March so that they can get that last big game for their financial year. That's what I think. They're going to try and ride that for that. What else did we watch? We watched a couple other ones. Ghost of Tsushima. We didn't get a lot of gameplay out of that, but it's the next game from Sucker Punch, the guys that made Infamous for the last couple of years, and this is it's like a samurai, ninja type story.
It looks good.
Yeah, I mean, for what we saw, it's literally a teaser. We don't know anything about this.
You saw like 3 seconds of actual
possible gameplay,
and it looked interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
What was it? The Hong Kong Massacre.
It was like a top-down arcade-like shooter, but the graphics looked more of it could be a behind-the-shoulder type shooter or whatever.
Right.
That was interesting. The one with the paintbrush and concrete. Something.
Shit.
It was like that puzzler with the painting on the walls and making it come to life. And
that looks cool.
It looks cool. It probably will be just a digital only. It's my guess is that the last 2, Hong Kong and the concrete whatever, is going to end up being a digital only for both of those. But
there's something else.
Yeah, there was the Erica.
Yes.
The live action.
It was, you decide her fate.
Yeah, kind of feel. It's almost like the old. It's like Night Trap that I just picked up, kind of like where it has that live footage type deal. I don't remember any more that were really. Oh, the Shadow Colossus. Remake. Looked pretty good.
Looked good.
It's Shadow Colossus on the PS4. I mean, you really can't go wrong. It was a great game. But there was one last thing I want to talk about because I meant to talk about it earlier and then I forgot because we talked about GameStop.
Okay.
Did you hear about the new GameStop thing they're going on?
Which thing?
The rental.
The rental, no.
You're going to be able to rent games from GameStop. All right, so check it out. It's actually a good deal.
Okay.
All right, so you pay $60 for 6 months, and you can rent as many used games as you want during that period.
So you literally walk in there and say, I want this used game.
I want this used game, and they'll give it to you.
How many are you allowed to have at once?
That I don't know. But you can rent as many as you want, as often as you want, for 6 months. For it's $60 for 6 months. So like you get you pay it up front, $60, and then you can actually have access to all these used games. And of course, the newer the games are, like if you try to go in and keep checking back for the newest one,
right?
You can go play it. And then at the end of that 60 days, you get to pick one used game for you to keep.
Huh? That ain't bad. Ain't bad at all.
It's of course the GameStop is struggling with profits.
Yeah.
So this is you have to have a membership, a free membership, to be you have to sign up for that to do it, because you can gift it. You can now gift this. I can't remember what it's called. GameStop something.
I don't know.
Something, but you're going to be able to rent games, and it's interesting because it's going to compete with like your GameFlies, because there aren't too many video rental stores out anymore.
Right.
But I know GameStop is hurting for certain.
Yeah.
And you have your console makers are trying to really steer towards digital content, and we've been seeing that.
Yes.
We've been seeing that in abundance. I mean, I just said that the Nintendo Mario Odyssey Switch bundle comes with a digital copy of the game.
Yeah.
A while back. So you don't even get this. They could have thrown this in. The case cost them maybe a couple bucks. The chip probably cost them a couple bucks, and you're paying the full price of the game almost to get that bundle.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be much to just include that, but they just give you the download code because they want to encourage people to download. They want to get you comfortable with the idea of downloading, so that way they can start stripping out the middleman, stripping out the Walmarts, the GameStops, all that kind of stuff, and skimp out on the used games market, because
right.
You went out and you bought Breath of the Wild used.
Yes, it did.
Yes, you bought it brand new before on the Wii U, right?
Yes, it did.
But
because the only reason why is because I couldn't get my hands on the Ultimate Collector's Edition for less than $300. I just want to put that out there. Like if it was $150, I would have bought it.
Okay.
I wouldn't even thought twice.
All right. So, and the world they want you to live in,
yeah,
they want you to buy this full price again for $60 and download it. And as a collector, I'm against it. I supporting the game companies and buying the games new when you can.
Right.
I do support giving the money to the publishers and the developers to help keep the business thriving.
Right.
I'm also a cheap ass collector. Okay. I'm also, like, as much money as I have spent on my collection, there's just as much cheap ass deals that I've gotten. And waiting to pick up games and getting them cheap used. So there's that. With the GameStop deal, it's hard to argue with $10 a month. It's $60 up front, but
right.
For $10 a month, you go down there and you could grab a copy of one of the more recent games for used, and it's a $55 game. Shadow of War, Destiny 2, Mario Odyssey might even be there already because somebody bought it and went, throw it away. Didn't like it. There are people out there that do that, and they didn't like it, but you'd be able to rent it and go out there and get it. And then you can go out there and get more and more and more and more. And after 6 months, when Mario Odyssey is still $60 in 6 months, and you have rented that game and you beat it, and you went on and you got 17 other games, 20 other games. Let's go to 20. Because you got one, didn't like it. Got this one, you beat that. Got this one, beat that. Got this one, didn't like it. Got this one, got this one, got this one. And you want to go, and then you want to keep one. And you go back up and you pick up Odyssey because you already paid your $60. And for that $60, you got to try out 19 other games.
Here's my thing, though. Are you going to have a time limit on when you can pick this up? Because, as we all know, a lot of buying a used Mario game is hard to do, because when they hit used, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to buy them the same day they went up.
Yeah.
And are you going to be able to say, okay, I want that when it comes in the next time, set it aside?
I don't know. I guess that's where the rules and all that stuff is gonna apply. You're gonna have to talk to them. I mean, you're gonna have to figure it out. I don't know. I haven't actually read anything on this. I watched a YouTube video on it, and I heard about it, and I heard about how the basics are. You pay $60, rent games, you get to keep one at the end of it.
It's a good deal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing it because it isn't for one system. You can rent any used game.
Any used game in the store.
So for someone like us, where we are on the fence about, we're collectors, so we're going to look at, there's a couple games that you heard are good, but you don't know like how you feel about them because you don't want to purchase the game. And then it suck. Because it's not your forte, but somebody said it's really good and you might enjoy it. It's a good way to check those. And we all know GameStops always have a lot of games. A lot of used games.
Even maybe more than what they actually put out.
Right. So it is a great, great deal. I'm not going to argue that. That is really good.
I do wonder how much, if this really takes off, how much it's going to hurt the actual consumer base for people wanting to go in there to buy it. Because if you have 15 copies of Breath of the Wild used in the store, and all 15 are gone, and then all you got to put out, all you can put out are the new ones. That hurts GameStop sales more than it helps, because with Breath of the Wild, they're going to mark that at 55, 40, 42 maybe, whatever it is.
42 at Replay, 56 or 53 at GameStop.
Well, GameStop makes almost all of that when they sell that used. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And I'm not against doing it. It's just a matter of how often will I want to take my happy ass into GameStop. Not that often. I don't like going there. I don't like being hounded. I don't like being talked to. I don't like being asked to do this, get a damn magazine, renew my membership. What are you looking for? Buddy, I just want to look around. Leave me alone.
I usually open. My opening line when I walk through the door, hey, how's it going? Is there anything we can help you with? I'm a collector. I'm just looking. I'm looking at everything. I just want to look. Okay.
When they ask me that, I just say, just browsing, and then they leave me alone, usually.
They usually don't for me. It depends on if the manager's at the specific store.
I've had it to where the guy out there, I said that to, and then when I was walking over there looking at the Vita, dude came from the back, saw me looking at the Vita, and started hitting me up about the Vita.
Yep.
So then we had a good conversation, and then he ended it with, is there anything like on Vita-wise you want to try and look and see if we had it? He goes, and I'm like, I'm just seeing what you guys have right here. I'm not really...
That I don't mind. That type of thing where you have a conversation with somebody and at the end it says, well, if there's anything specific you're looking for, maybe I can help you. We may not have it out there. I can maybe help you with that. That is different than walking through the door, blah, 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 blah. We got a new Switch bundle, blah, blah, blah. You need to buy a new Switch bundle. This is coming up. I don't care. 9 times out of 10, you're a gamer. You keep up on what the fuck's going on. I just want to look. That's it. That's all I've ever wanted to do.
Nate asked me what my ETA is for doing Journey into Comics tonight.
Well,
live here on the show.
It's 7:46.
Yeah, well, right. We're gonna try and do this. Yeah. So he's gonna get that, and then I know Nate watches. That's how he prefers to check out Game Addicts, is actually watch the video. So it's going to be funny in like a week or so when he sees us do that. But, I don't really have much else to talk about this week. We talked about maybe having a guest on next week. We'll see how that goes.
Yes.
I'm going to let him know that, we'll probably set up for our normal recording day and when to be here.
And it could change. I mean, if we need to change, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. We're usually pretty flexible. I don't have much going on. I think Saturday might be booked up with the wife's photos. She might have rescheduled some stuff from today.
I'm pretty sure I'll have to work Sunday, and I don't know if I'm going to go to nights or not. So maybe Thursday would be the best. I don't know.
But, I'll definitely see how it goes. He's been on one podcast in the network so far, and that it will air next week on Podcastrophe. So I haven't heard it yet, and I want to because I want to hear it. I heard it went really well. He's a very great guy, really into gaming, and I'm really excited to pick his brain about some games. And maybe next week we can sort of, all three of us, we can pick a few games that we really want to dive into as far as our back catalog. Pick a few from our collection to say, I want to get back to this, or I fell off from this. I want to get back to this and beat this, or, like something you started that you didn't get to finish, or something you haven't even started yet that you were like, you know what, before I play anything else, I want to try and get to this. And that doesn't necessarily mean you will, but it's on your radar,
Right.
Because I definitely have a few that I need to get back to, and I keep either not having time to do it, or I'm usually checking something else out when I have the time. But with that being said, I think it's going to do us for this week here on the Game Addicts podcast.
Or do you have a recommendation?
Do I have a recommendation this week?
I think we missed the last one.
We might have, because it just ended up no, Kotar. I guess was I might sometimes
I might have missed one,
because just like you said, like Oddysee is your recommendation, where you just said it earlier. I might have said that for that one too. Blah 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 blah. What is my recommendation? Pull one out of my ass. I checked out Until Dawn the other day.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that?
My wife did. She said it was scarier than shit.
It is like a very much kind of like a Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain, where you make your decisions. It's kind of like a touch base or a quick time event type thing, where you make your decisions, you check stuff out, that kind of thing. But it's a horror. It's like a B movie, horror movie.
Huh.
I was laughing pretty hard at some of the bad acting.
Oh, I think the one she was talking about was the Evil Within.
Evil Within, that's different.
Really fucking hard.
Until Dawn seems pretty cool. I only got to check it out, but it was part of the PS Plus package. You know what we didn't talk about?
The PlayStation and Xbox.
We did not talk about that. Let me see if we can look that up really quick.
It is the beginning of the month.
Yes, it is, and so we normally try to do that, and this kind of snuck up on me. I totally forgot. PS Plus versus Xbox Live. When was this? We'll click it and see where it takes us, because I want to say both months have been released, and I read it and I completely forgot about it. November. Here we go.
All right.
So, are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
So for PS4. Worms Battlegrounds.
That's a fun game.
Yeah.
I'll be downloading that.
Bound. That is Bound. That was a PS4 game. I remember, but I didn't play it.
I didn't play it either.
PS3 Dimensions. PS3 Ragdoll Kung Fu Fists of Plastic. PS Vita Dungeon Punks. And Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse, Episode 1 and 2. Total retail value is $104.94. If you bought all those games separately, brand new. Games with gold. Trackmania Turbo for Xbox One. Xbox One. Tales from the Borderlands.
Wow. That's a big game.
So that is the... want to say that is the Tales from the Borderlands. That is the, what you call it, where the Walking Dead. No, that's the Walking Dead, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
What? Telltale.
Telltale. Yeah, Telltale.
That is the Borderlands Telltale story game. Into Dreams on 360 and Deadfall Adventures. Total retail value $104.96. They're almost right even for that month. So neither one of these really looks all that interesting to me. Of course, last month PS Plus killed it with like Metal Gear Solid 5 and then the Amnesia collection. So,
see, for me that's the Worms.
Worms is fun
because me and my cousin used to play it all the time. So.
Worms and Tales of the Borderlands is also a pretty good one over there on the Xbox. So I'm glad I remembered that very last minute, man. So now that's gonna do it for us here today on episode 54 of the Game Addicts podcast. We thank you for checking out this episode, no matter where you did it, whether it's on your audio or on podcast services around the globe, or on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, or on Podchaser, anything that searches RSS feeds, search Game Addicts podcast. We're going to pop up. We're on the GameAddictsPodcast.com.
Yeah.
Or just GameAddictsPodcast.com, not the. You don't need to put the on there. Just go to the website, check out all our episodes there on your on your browser if you want. If YouTube is your game, we have a camera set up where we struggle to get some good lighting sometimes and proper table placement. We are not a high grade production facility here. We are just throwing this up as a
2 guys that love gaming.
Exactly. We're just throwing this up as a little bit of a bonus extra, a way for people to check out the show if they want to do it that way, because they can see our faces and see us not look at the camera.
Yeah, because I'm looking down most of the time.
I'm looking down or looking at you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, podcasting is typically an audio format, but YouTube's a lot. Some people pick a place where they digest all their stuff, and they stick to it. And for that a lot of people choose YouTube. So that option is there for you guys. We're on social media. We're on the Facebook. We're on Twitter at Game Addicts Play. Instagram, where we post pictures of our stuff sometimes, and links. And
he does.
Yeah, I do. I think that's it. If you want to get our podcast up to 1 week early, head over to the Journey into Comics Network Patreon at patreon.com/Journey into Comics.
And you don't just get our show.
No, you get all the shows available on the network. We have the base, the original, the OG, Journey into Comics, that got me into podcasting, that begat this show. They helped us really kind of branch off, create this show, and this show is on there as well, as long as Journey into Wrestling, Foodies Watching Movies, The Poor Report, Podcast Free Butt Stuff. We're looking at The Voice of Survival, and the new one, we just added a new one, Brews with Dudes.
And there is almost exclusive content for each one of those on our Patreon.
Yes, well, I mean, we promise for $3 a month at least one bonus content show a month. For the first one, me and Nate brought back our comic club show where we review a comic book or books, and that's all the show is dedicated to, is just that. And then we had the Poor Report has put up a couple special reports where he dives into television or whatever he wants to dive into. We've had a special butt stuff episode over there where it's exclusive. They did like a trilogy where they watched some horror movies. Yeah. And the second one is exclusively on the Patreon. So we also have some more stuff brewing over there as far as original content.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is the Evil Dead one where Elon watches.
I think so, yes. Because they did
Evil Dead.
They did Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, and then they did Tucker and Dale.
Tucker and Dale's amazing. But anyways,
well, I mean, the thing is that not only do you help us out, but you help out everybody because it helps pay for the hosting. Not for that. That's first and foremost. We want to try and get our hosting to where it's covered, and we can focus completely on providing great content, which we do as always. But if you choose not to do that, don't want to support us that way, that's absolutely fine. You guys don't have to, because we do this for the love of doing it. We do this because we love podcasting and talking about games or whatever else we choose to talk about on the other shows. So with that being said, just support us and subscribe wherever you want to do that. And until next time, I'm Brando.
And I'm Mike.
And we will see you next week.